Now that President Trump has said who he wants to replace retiring Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy, the battle begins.
Now, the White House is hoping for a Senate confirmation vote on Kavanaugh by October 1st. That's the start of the new Supreme Court term. Abby Phillip has more on what's ahead.
It is my honor and privilege to announce that I will nominate Judge Brett Kavanaugh to the United States Supreme Court.
President Trump's nomination of D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals Judge Brett Kavanaugh setting the stage for a bitter confirmation fight over the stalwart conservative who could reshape the high court for decades.
If confirmed by the Senate, I will keep an open mind in every case.
The 53-year-old Yale Law School graduate was a former clerk for retiring Justice Anthony Kennedy. He served in both Bush administrations and helped write Ken Starr's report outlining grounds for Bill Clinton's impeachment. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell calling Kavanaugh a superb choice, despite CNN learning that McConnell advised the president to choose a nominee with less obstacles to be confirmed. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer declaring, "I will oppose Judge Kavanaugh's nomination with everything I have," as opponents expressed concern that Kavanaugh will vote to overturn rulings protecting minorities.
Are you ready for a fight? Are you ready to defend Roe versus Wade?
Kavanaugh has not outrightly opposed Roe v. Wade or same-sex marriage, but he sided with the Trump administration last year to block an abortion for a pregnant immigrant teenager, citing the government's permissible interest in favoring fetal life. Kavanaugh addressed the landmark abortion ruling during his confirmation to the D.C. Circuit.
If confirmed to the D.C. Circuit, I would follow Roe v. Wade faithfully and fully. That would be binding precedent.
But what is your opinion? You're not on the bench yet. You've talked about these issues in the past to other people, I'm sure.
The Supreme Court has held repeatedly, Senator, and I don't think it would be appropriate for me to give a personal view on that case.
Kavanaugh's nomination could also have major implications for Special Counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation. Kavanaugh is a strong proponent of broad executive powers, writing in 2009, the indictment and trial of a sitting president would cripple the federal government, rendering it unable to function with credibility in either international or domestic arenas. Some social conservatives expressing disappointment that the president chose the establishment favorite.
It just seems like, Trump in this case just bowed to the elite in Washington, and I think that's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way.
But sources tell CNN that the president was heartened that key conservative voices like Ann Coulter and writers at Breitbart have recently come to Kavanaugh's defense. As the confirmation battle begins, the White House is eyeing 4 red state Democrats, 3 who voted for the president's first justice, Neil Gorsuch. Key Republican moderates Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, who both support abortion rights, also likely to be the target of fierce lobbying efforts. Collins, who voted for Kavanaugh as a federal judge, promising to conduct a careful and thorough vetting of the president's nominee.
That was Abby Phillip reporting. Kavanaugh visited Capitol Hill today. He met with Vice President Mike Pence, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, and other senators. McConnell calls Kavanaugh an outstanding choice. The vice president also praised Kavanaugh's credentials and character.
Members of the Senate and the American people they represent will see, as the president said last night, that Judge Brett Kavanaugh is quite simply the most qualified and the most deserving nominee to the Supreme Court of the United States.
Meanwhile, Senator Dianne Feinstein says today Kavanaugh would be among the most conservative justices in Supreme Court history. She says he would set back women's freedoms and limit access to comprehensive health care.
Both Indiana senators also talking about Kavanaugh's nomination. First, you'll hear from Democratic Senator Joe Donnelly, then Republican Senator Todd Young.
I expect and look forward to sitting down with him in my office to have a frank discussion with him of his views on different judicial areas. And so there's a lot of work to do between now and any potential vote.
Well, he has a reputation as a so-called originalist, which means he applies the Constitution as written to a given case. I want to make sure that's the case. I need great confidence that that is, in fact, what he does, as opposed to legislating from the bench. So I'll be looking at past decisions, legal writings, speeches he's made.
Senator Young also went on to say that he plans to personally meet with Kavanaugh before a vote.